The story of Jesus has profoundly shaped human history, yet its interpretation varies significantly, depending on who you ask. While the New Testament Gospel depicts Jesus as a saviour who sacrifices himself to redeem humanity's sins, the Gnostics have always had an entirely different perspective. To them, Jesus wasn't a redeemer of sin, but a revealer of hidden knowledge. His purpose wasn't to repair the world, but to awaken people to the reality that the world itself is a deception. Here we'll examine Jesus' story through a Gnostic lens, drawing from texts like the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Philip, to explore an alternative view of his mission, one that challenges traditional beliefs and offers a profound spiritual interpretation. Understanding the Gnostics. The term Gnostic comes from the Greek gnosis, meaning knowledge, but not ordinary knowledge used for practical tasks. This was deeper, spiritual insight. For Gnostics, this inner knowing is key to liberation. Our fundamental belief is that the world we experience is a prison. Since ancient times we have held that the physical universe, including our bodies, are the creation of an inferior deity known as the demiurge. This demiurge was an ignorant and flawed being who fashioned the material world, and in doing so entrapped fragments of divine light, our souls, within it. The physical form isn't inherently evil, but it acts as a cage for the divine spark within. The ultimate goal isn't to redeem the body, but to transcend it, awakening the divine essence inside and reconnecting with the true, unknowable God within, the source of all light and truth. This is where Jesus comes into play, not as a sacrifice for sin, but as a guide to freedom. He was a Gnostic Tau of the serpent bloodline families, sent to remind us of our true origins. We are not of this world. We are fragments of something far greater, and it's time to break free. The Gnostic perspective on Jesus. Jesus wasn't a teacher sent to lead humanity out of ignorance. The Gospel of Thomas presents a Jesus who speaks in cryptic but powerful sayings about self-discovery. When you come to know yourselves, you will be known, and you will realize that you are the children of the living Father. This message wasn't about following laws or rituals, but about introspection and realizing the divine spark within. To Gnostics, salvation isn't something granted by faith or good deeds, but something that arises from awakening to a hidden truth inside oneself. This emphasis on awakening also shaped how the Gnostics understood Jesus' mission. He didn't come to restore the world or redeem the flesh. He came to remind us that we are never meant to be trapped here in the first place. The teachings and miracles of Jesus. In Gnostic writings, Jesus' miracles are often seen as metaphors for spiritual enlightenment, rather than literal supernatural events. Consider this passage from the Gospel of Thomas. Whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become that person, and the hidden things will be revealed to him. This suggests that the true understanding comes from absorbing Jesus' wisdom, leading to inner transformation. Drinking from my mouth symbolizes taking in divine knowledge, which results in unity with Jesus and the revelation of hidden truths. Even traditional miracles take on a different meaning in the Gnostic context. Healing the blind wasn't just about physical sight. It symbolized opening the eyes of the soul. Walking on water wasn't merely a supernatural feat. It represented mastery over the illusions of the material world. These miracles weren't acts of defiance against nature, but demonstration of the Spirit's supremacy over matter. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Now let us turn to the Garden of Gethsemane. It's a pivotal moment. Jesus prays fervently, sweating blood, asking the Father to let this cup pass from me. It's an emotionally charged scene, but Gnostics interpret it in an entirely different way. The cup symbolizes the material world, the illusion crafted by the demiurge. Yet Jesus ultimately accepts his fate, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." This wasn't submission to the demiurge, but alignment with the true God, the infinite source of light and truth. His disciples, meanwhile, struggle to stay awake, a crucial detail. Their sleep mirrors humanity's spiritual slumber, trapped in ignorance and illusion. In Gnostic thought, Jesus' mission was to awaken the sleepers, to impart gnosis, knowledge, that would free them from the material world's deceptions. Could you not watch me for 1 hour? This plea underscores the difficulty of spiritual awakening. Even in the presence of divine wisdom, most people remain ensnared in the material realm. The role of Judas. And then there is Judas, the infamous betrayer, or was he? The Gospel of Judas presents a radically different view. In this text, Judas isn't a villain. He's the only disciple who truly understands Jesus' mission. Jesus tells him, "But you will exceed all of them. You will sacrifice the man that clothes me." In other words, Judas wasn't betraying Jesus, he was liberating him. The man that clothes me refers to Jesus' physical body, which, from a Gnostic perspective, was a prison. Judas's actions weren't treachery, they were a necessary step in freeing Jesus from the constraints of the flesh. This interpretation turns one of the most infamous acts in history into an enlightened, albeit controversial, act of understanding. The Last Supper and the Eucharist. At the Last Supper, Jesus breaks bread and pours wine, declaring, "This is my body, this is my blood." For traditional Christianity, this moment establishes the Eucharist as a sacrament of forgiveness. But Gnostics see a deeper meaning. To them, the bread and the wine weren't about physical sacrifice, but spiritual nourishment. Participating in the act wasn't about memorializing Jesus' death. It was about awakening the divine knowledge he was imparting. The focus wasn't on suffering, but on realizing the divine spark within. The Crucifixion and the Resurrection. Mainstream Christianity views the crucifixion as the ultimate act of redemption, Jesus dying for humanity's sins. The Gnostics, however, see it in a completely different light. The great treatise of the Great Seth suggests that the crucifixion was an illusion meant to deceive the demiurge and his followers. One passage states, "It was another who drank the gall and the vinegar. It was not I. They struck me with the reed. It was another who bore the cross." In this version, Jesus' true essence was never harmed. The crucifixion wasn't about suffering. It was about proving that the spirit could never be destroyed. Similarly, The resurrection wasn't about a physical return, but a demonstration of the soul's triumph over the material world. Just as the sun rises every day, as it symbolically defies death or the darkness of night. The Gnostic story of Jesus isn't just an alternative interpretation, it's a fundamentally different paradigm. Instead of focusing on our sin and redemption, it centers on awakening, enlightenment, and the liberation from illusion. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment and subscribe to help the algorithm for this channel. And if you have any suggestions of what topics you'd like me to cover, please let me know. That's all for now. Bye!